Last week it was mostly thrash metal. This week's releases are mostly death metal. I'm cool either way. Welcome, metalheads. I'm the host of Heavy Metal Philosophy and writer for Metal Digest, John Barbas. Make sure you stick around to the end of the episode for this week's album art of the week. It's the weekend. Y'all know what that means. We got new metal albums to talk about. And before I jump into my top 5 favorite from this weekend, let's talk about some big releases. There's a new album from Skindred. It's called Smile, and I was privileged to get a sneak preview of this album, which means my written review is already published on Metal Digest. You can find a link to all my writings in the description below. Those veteran nu metal / reggae dudes are back at it again, and I'm pleased to say this album is a lot of fun. If you like fun, and you like metal, and you like reggae, you'll be into this one. But it's not all fun and games. On the more brutal side, we got Humanity's Last Breath with Ashen, Deathcore from Sweden. So if you want it all brutal all the time, can't go wrong here. And speaking of Sweden and big album releases, we can't go anywhere without talking about Mon Moth. They dropped a new EP this weekend called Hydrum. It's like some variations on some songs you already know, some live versions. If you're a bigger Mon Moth fan, there you go. You know you got to get that one. And I also wonder if maybe they're leading up to something a little bit bigger. Maybe some news on the horizon with the Mon Moth. I'm definitely interested. Now let's do the top 5. Coming in at number 5, Chaos Descent, the blurry end of an era. This is melodic death metal from Turkey. Haven't heard much from Turkey recently, but here we go. And this is a great representation because it's got super fast guitars, tight grooves, and guys screaming all over the place. None of that anthemic pop choruses, clean singing that you hear with some melodic death metal. This is brutal. That's why I love it. Check it out. Coming in at number 4, and this is my weird one for the week. This is Ashley Killingfeld with Hierarchies, and this is Death Doom from Kentucky. But this one's interesting because it really reminds me of stoner metal a lot. In a lot of places, it's got that classic rock feel, that southern rock feel, but then you'll just bust out some death metal a la Bolt Thrower. And it's like, whoa, okay, that's an interesting blend. That's why I like it. I like it weird like that. Make sure you check it out. Coming in at number 3, we got Krypto with Shades of Sorrow. This is an all-female death metal band from Brazil, and these ladies are pissed off and super heavy. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. Every instrument is going off on this one. This is high-energy death metal. Definitely dig it. You will too if you check it out. Coming in at number 2, we've got Hipfire with Inferno. And this is death metal / hardcore from Texas. I don't know what's been going on in Texas lately, but they've been pumping them out. And this one rules. It's got this OSDM flavor to it, but it's got like this evil synth that gives it that atmospheric vibe. But then you got the hardcore cadence in there with the vocal delivery too. So it's basically everything that I love in metal. I'm definitely going to enjoy it some more, and you will too. Check it out. But hey, before we do number 1, let me just say a couple things to you. If you love metal the way that I love metal, then you're in the right place, and you should join the Heavy Metal Philosophy community because it's all we do here. Exclusively on YouTube, every weekend, we break down the best new metal releases, and free on all platforms. Every Tuesday is a podcast about, you guessed it, metal. If you like any of these bands, hit the like button because it helps spread the message, and that's what we do here. Now let's do number 1. Coming in at number 1, The Crawling with All of This for Nothing. This is Death Doom from Northern Ireland. And once again, I got a sneak preview of this album and I absolutely loved it. It's got amazing riffs, tight grooves. It's not super slow like a lot of Death Doom tends to be. It's more mid-tempo. Lots of times I thought to myself, oh, that's a sick riff. But even more importantly, for somebody like me, very existential lyrics. Oftentimes I would hear a lyric and go, oh, okay, this is serious. All metal is about existentialism, But this one is not just this broad strokes angst. This is all about the futility of trying to fit in with society, especially when you consider life's impermanence. I really dug that message. I really dug the riffs and the grooves. That's why it's number one this week, but we're not done yet. Let's talk about this week's album art of the week. And speaking of scratching my philosopher nerd itch, this week's album art of the week comes from Thumos. It's called Musica Universalis. This is progressive doom metal. But look at this album art. I love this. This looks like an Escher drawing mixed with like a Leonardo da Vinci blueprint. You've got these concentric bowls with the cube inside. And every time I look at it, it makes me wonder about the function of this device, what's going on here, what it's trying to represent. That's good album art. It made me curious to hear the record. And again, progressive doom metal, I very much enjoyed the music. Every song has a unique atmosphere and vibe. Kudos to Thumos. But hey, before we go, I just want to shout out one more album. It's called The Shredders. It's a self-titled album. This is like a throwback trad metal / shred album, very tongue-in-cheek, but guitar heroes all over the place on this. We got Gary Holt, Dave Davidson, amongst many other great guitar players playing on this album. I really enjoyed this one. I also got a sneak peek of this, and my review is published in Metal Digest. And what really interests me about this band is they're saying that they're going to be a metaverse band, they're going to embrace Web3, and I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know, but I want to know. I want to know what their strategy is, because up until this point, I've not seen much use for the metaverse or Web3 when it comes to heavy metal, but maybe these guys can show us. And I also find it very interesting that this throwback band is on the bleeding edge of technology. Will they win? Will they fail? You let me know in the comments. Also, let me know what you're spinning this week, what you thought about these bands. If you want to catch another great episode of Heavy Metal Philosophy, just click right here. But most importantly, read philosophy, listen to metal. I love you.